How can technology reduce cost of the last mile? Let's find out. Good morning, Christian. So for today's topic, what can be done to lower last mile cost? Very, very broad topic. I believe that we can do and we can touch a lot of points which can optimize our cost. For the broader picture, first we want to discuss about technology, but also my point is that to lower cost is about density of pickup or density of delivery or both of them. And let's discuss how we can impact them through the technology. What do you think?
I think it's a huge subject, and especially when you talk about distribution. Distribution is the number of parcels that you have per drop makes sense. That's why we see a move going from home delivery towards lockers going to and to points. Another thing is also that when you look at the distribution, a standard distribution flow, one of the things I see that has a huge impact is actually that it takes quite a while today to load the vehicle, and I think that is the problems because you actually look at it from an assets point of view, and the asset being a van or the asset being a lorry. Some of the issues that we have is that we spend quite a lot of time on loading the van, and then we have a long distance in order to make sure that we reach the first stop. And then, of course, these people need, as everybody, all of us, they need a break in the middle of the day. And then they need to, from the last spot, to go back and deliver the car again, or they drive home to where they have the vehicle at their home, whatever it takes. But if you look at that process, and if it's an 8-hour shift, and you probably have efficient distribution in between 5 and 6 hours, it's not a good use of your asset as such. So there are so many things that we need to look at in order to make sure what we can do in order to lower that type of cost. And yes, infrastructure is a part of it. We've been discussing with outer homes and locker solutions and stuff like that, which is a way on the journey, but there are so many other things we have to look at.
Absolutely. So I remember from my times in UPS when I was responsible for the revenue management, we have done a lot of, I would say, very manual exercises which calculate the impact of the new customer or loss of the customer into the whole system. And this is something which technology absolutely can help. If, of course, we were equipped in kind of pricing models, cost allocation models, but doesn't work because it's still based on kind of assumptions. And here, the technology can help to assess what is the impact of the customer on the whole cost and the whole network. That's very interesting. It can work in kind of digital twins solutions that we can really see if this customer shipping from this particular region to the and have very particular flows, how it can impact our sorting centers, capacity, transport, pickup, etc., etc. So the pricing based on impact on the whole network, this is something which probably may change a lot. And of course, from the delivery point of view, out of home is the key. I would say there is no another better solution at the moment. If you compare 100 parcel in the classic door-to-door and with, for example, impost 1,500 parcels a day, for the driver is huge change, and it is reflected in the cost. Absolutely. Out of home is kind of game which can really lower the cost of last mile.
I would just go, Greg, back to the first thing that you mentioned. One of the things I actually saw last week was from a solution from Greenplan where they actually could see the cost per stop, as you talked about. For your customers, every single drop that they had in your network, what would be the cost? And one thing that I found was really interesting is that if you combine traditional distribution with the crowdfunding or geek solution, a little bit like we see in food delivery today, and you combine the best from food delivery and you combine it with the best of optimization, you would actually be able to take these spots out, which are very expensive for you because you could probably optimize in areas, and then you have these single spots. It could be a delivery up on a mountain or whatever it is, which are way too expensive for you. You could actually, today with the compute power, you could actually calculate what would it cost if I had somebody to just do that deliver for me. Take a scooter, put the parcel on the back and drive up the mountain and deliver that. And you still would make money because you could optimize the other areas much more. So there are so many interesting things coming up now in order to actually make a better cost model, as you said. I think also we need to look at the loading processes. You see that what Amazon has done by loading the bag right now, and I'm sure they're working hard on it. They want to make sure how they can pack the bags automatically, because today is a very manual process. So they took the cost from the loading process and put it back into the sorting cost. But if overall, if we can optimize the sorting directly into the vehicles and packing the vehicles, then you actually, you have a shift which is only taking maybe 5-10 minutes to load a vehicle, and the vehicle can leave straight away. We see autonomous driving coming up at some point. As I said to you, it's very normal that you have maybe up to 30 minutes to drive before you get to the first delivery point. That is no value to have a person doing that. You could have an autonomous vehicle doing that. You could have people who are not drivers to deliver the parcels because the vehicle is autonomous. So you would have a co-driver, which function is maybe just to fill the locker and then and deliver to the put points and the home deliveries. And as soon as you finish in that area, you step out and let the vehicle drive next to the next position where there's another person doing it. There is quite a technology future in front of us to solve some of the problems, because we will have problems. We will not be able in Western Europe, especially to have drivers. And we know how many truck drivers are going on pension in Germany over the next 5 years. And we need to figure out how technology not just can save costs, but actually also make sure that we can operate in the future and not get into some kind of overbidding of resources, which we will have to do. And we see already happening today in some regions where you have a lot of technology consolidated or logistics consolidated, because we all choose the same points.
Interesting topic also in this area is how to manage capacity of parcel lockers, which are more and more popular, because one thing is to offer and to enhance, change the recipient's behaviors to pick up from the lockers or from kudos, not from waiting for the parcels. But managing capacity is very interesting because it directly impacts your capex. And here there is huge area for potential improvements. First is kind of how communication with the recipient may impact turnaround of the parcels, and we can test it very well. We can test a lot of communication types and see what works, what not. Very typical. The second thing is related with understanding of the recipient's behaviors. So, for example, if we know that someone pick up parcel from, of course, just 1 hour before it's delivered, let's put the parcel first. And if we know that someone is waiting for 2 days, let's fill the APM by this parcel in the last round in the day. So this is the kind of analytics which we can still impact on the cost and impact on the capex as well.
Absolutely. I think that one of the or today largest problems we have is that we are not using this capex we're standing. A locker is actually an infrastructure as such, and it's I think that this has been concluded over the last couple of months, that more and more clearly that we have to look at lockers and infrastructure in the future. And the thing is that when you invest in an infrastructure, yes, we can move these and also follow the dwell time, follow the customers' convenience and stuff like that. But when I ask people, when I think we closed down a couple of lockers last year in Post North. They were from Kiba. We bought them in 2008. We did that last year. So a locker is like a sorting center. If you look at it, that's a type of infrastructure. You will not move it that often. You will have it if it's standing good. You will have it there, and you will have it for more than your TCO plan. But it also means that the decisions that we're taking now are something that's going to follow you also for quite a long time. So you're absolutely right. We need to understand our end consumers, their behavior, which is changing, but we can monitor that. I think we sit on an enormous important data, which is about the end consumers' convenience and their dwell times, as you talk about. And then we have all kinds of technologies. I think that gamification or whatever it takes in order to make sure that your infrastructure is utilized as much as possible. We see now everybody is soft booking, more and more actually, is soft booking returns into the lockers. But we see the number of people who are delivering in, because it's probably a natural pattern. The number of people that are delivering their parcels through the lockers, return parcels through the lockers, is quite few compared, anyway, for us, compared to the people who deliver parcels at the put point. And it's much more expensive for us to have it at the put point than we would have it at the locker. So there are some changes which we will see, and we will try to also notch in order to make sure that if people find it convenience to pick up a parcel in a locker, why shouldn't it also not be convenience to deliver the returns in that sense? So I think that we have enormous amount of work to do with getting some of the cost out of those expensive infrastructures we have in the last mile.
The cost of last mile process is a very, very large topic, and we can touch a lot of points, and for sure we'll come back to it. Now we leave you with some ideas, and our listeners, leaders, watchers leave some ideas, but we'll come back to another